before machines dominated the battlefield, before the thunder of tanks and the scream of jet engines. There was an age when war was waged on four hooves. Horses ruled the field of battle, their presence enough to strike fear into the hearts of enemies. The ground trembled beneath their charge, their hoofbeats the drum roll of destiny. This was the era of the cavalry. Today, we ride back through time to uncover the stories of the war horses who led the charge, who galloped headlong into chaos with the weight of legends on their backs. And at the heart of this journey stands one name above the rest. A horse as wild as he was fearless. Join us as we begin with the tale of Bucephalus, the horse who couldn't be tamed. The first known evidence of horses used in warfare dates back to around 4000 to 3000 BC. By 2500 BC, a Sumerian depiction known as the War Panel of the Standard of Ur illustrates horses or mules pulling four-wheeled wagons. By 1600 BC, harness and chariot technology had improved significantly, and chariots became a dominant feature of warfare throughout the ancient Near East. A chariot is a two-wheeled vehicle, much like a cart, pulled by 2 to 4 horses and driven by a charioteer. The earliest known manual on training and conditioning war horses was the Hittite Manual of Kikule. The Hittites, in particular, earned a reputation for their prowess with the two-wheeled chariots. In time, formal cavalry tactics began to replace the use of chariots, prompting the development of new training methods. Around 350 BC, the great military commander and horseman Xenophon wrote extensively on horsemanship. His treatises covered horse selection, care, and training. His second work, the Hipparchus, specifically dealt with military training and the duties of a cavalry commander. But the story of our great Bucephalus doesn't begin until around 355 BC. Bucephalus was known as a wild, hot-tempered stallion, with a striking black coat, a star on his forehead, and a massive head, hence his name, which literally means ox head. According to the Greek author Plutarch in the Life of Alexander, a biography of Alexander's life, the young prince, only 13 years old at the time, won the horse after making a wager with his father, King Philip II. Bucephalus's previous owner, a horse dealer named Philonicus, had attempted to sell the horse to the king for the considerable sum of 13 talents. However, after many of Philip's men failed to tame the horse, the king lost interest in the deal. But Alexander, recognizing the horse's potential, boldly declared, "What a horse they are losing, because, for lack of skill and courage, they cannot manage him." He then made a wager with his father. If he could tame the horse, Philip would pay for it. But if he failed, Alexander would bear the cost himself. Though many laughed at the young prince, Alexander had a keen and observant eye. He noticed that Bucephalus was not unruly by nature, but simply frightened by his own shadow. Speaking to the horse gently, Alexander turned his head toward the sun, so the shadow was no longer visible, then swiftly mounted and bridled him. With some dramatic flair, Plutarch recounts that Philip, overjoyed by his son's triumph, exclaimed, "O my son, look thee out a kingdom equal to and worthy of thyself, for Macedonia is too little for thee." A more mythical account of Bucephalus's origin is found in the Alexander Romance, a collection of fantastical stories that further fuels the horse's legendary status, and thus began Bucephalus's journey into legend. He and Alexander became inseparable, forming an unbreakable bond. It was said that no one but Alexander could ride him. According to legend, Bucephalus was a mirror of Alexander himself, that they were born on the same day, and that the moment they met, the course of history was changed forever. Bucephalus became Alexander's most trusted charger and served him throughout his military campaigns, traveling over 20,000 miles from Greece to India. He symbolized Alexander's leadership and martial prowess, and his presence alone inspired morale among the soldiers. Bucephalus embodied the spirit and discipline of the Macedonian cavalry. After the final defeat of Darius III during an excursion, Bucephalus was kidnapped. When Alexander discovered this, he was furious and vowed to cut down every tree, lay waste to the countryside, and slay every inhabitant in the region if the horse was not returned. Fearing the wrath of the king, his enemies swiftly returned Bucephalus, along with a plea for mercy. The value Alexander placed on Bucephalus was akin to that of his hero Achilles, who once said of his own steeds, "Known to excel all others, for they are immortal. Poseidon gave them to my father, Peleus, who in his turn gave them to me." Yet Bucephalus was indeed mortal. He died in 326 BC, and his passing left a deep mark on Alexander. The cause of death remains debated. Some say he died heroically in battle, while others believe he succumbed to old age shortly after the Battle of the Hydaspes River. Plutarch references both possibilities, while noting that Onesicritus, a historian who traveled with Alexander, believed the horse died of natural causes. Bucephalus was buried on the west bank of the Hydaspes River, where Alexander held a royal funeral in his honor. To commemorate their profound bond, Alexander founded a city and named it Bucephala. The legend of Bucephalus has only grown with time. He remains one of the most famous horses in history, immortalized in books, artwork, and most famously in the Alexander mosaic. He even became the model for other notable steeds, such as Julius Caesar's polydactyl horse and Napoleon's Marengo. And so, the story of Bucephalus comes to a close. He was not just a steed, but a symbol of loyalty, strength, and the unbreakable bond between warrior and horse. In life, he carried Alexander to the edges of the known world. In legend, he rides on untamed, undefeated, and unforgettable. But Bucephalus was just the beginning. Across history, other hooves have thundered into battle, each with a story etched in courage. Join us next time as we continue our journey through the annals of war and witness the legacy of the great war horses of old. Thank you for watching this Explore Horses production. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel to learn more about the fantastic world of horses. Until then, farewell.